everybody. I'm back with another really good fall book for you today. This one is called Ox Cart Man by Donald Hall, and the pictures are by Barbara Cooney. So there's the Ox Cart Man, and he's got his ox, and there's the cart. Let's see what this one's about. This one has great paintings for pictures. In October, he backed his ox into his cart, and he and his family filled it up with everything they made or grew all year long that was left over. He packed a bag of wool he sheared from sheep in April. He packed a shawl his wife wove on a loom from yarn spun at the spinning wheel from sheep sheared in April. He packed 5 pairs of mittens his daughter knit from yarn spun at the spinning wheel from sheep sheared in April. He packed candles the family made. He packed linen made from flax they grew. He packed shingles he split himself. He packed birch brooms his son carved with a borrowed kitchen knife. So they're packing everything into their cart. He packed potatoes they dug from their garden, but first he counted out potatoes, enough to eat all winter, and potatoes for seed next spring. He packed a barrel of apples, honey and honeycombs, turnips and cabbages, a wooden box of maple sugar from the maples they tapped in March, when they boiled and boiled and boiled the sap away. He packed a bag of goose feathers that his children collected from the barnyard geese. So he's got the geese and apples, there's some cabbages. They're loading up the cart. When his cart was full, he waved goodbye to his wife, his daughter, and his son, and he walked at his ox's head 10 days, over hills, through valleys, by streams, past farms and villages. So he is walking, leading his cart, until he came to Portsmouth and Portsmouth Market. He sold the bag of wool, he sold the shawl his wife made, he sold 5 pairs of mittens, he sold candles and shingles, he sold birch brooms, he sold potatoes, he sold apples, he sold honeycombs and honey and turnips and cabbages, he sold maple sugar, he sold a bag of goose feathers. So he's selling all the things they grew and made all year long. Then he sold the wooden box he carried the maple sugar in. Then he sold the barrel he carried the apples in. Then he sold the bag he carried the potatoes in. Then he sold his ox cart. So he's getting rid of his cart too. He's selling it to this man. Then he sold his ox and kissed him goodbye on his nose. Then he sold his ox's yoke and harness. With his pockets full of coins, he walked through the market. He bought an iron kettle to hang over the fire at home. And for his daughter, he bought an embroidery needle that came from a boat in the harbor that had sailed all the way from England. And for his son, he bought a barlow knife for carving birch brooms. And for the whole family, he bought 2 pounds of wintergreen peppermint candies. So now he's doing the shopping. He was doing the selling before, and now he's doing the shopping, and he's buying all the things they need. Then he walked home with the needle and the knife and the wintergreen peppermint candies tucked into the kettle, and a stick over his shoulder stuck through the kettle's handle, and coins still in his pocket. So he didn't spend all of his money. He still has some money. Can you see him way in there? He's teensy on the road walking back home. past farms and villages, over hills, through valleys, by streams, until he came to his farm, and his son, his daughter, and his wife were waiting for him. I bet they're happy he's home. And his daughter took her needle and began stitching, and his son took his barlow knife and started whittling, and they cooked dinner in the new kettle, and afterward everyone ate a wintergreen peppermint candy. And that night the ox cart man sat in front of his fire stitching his new harness for the young ox in the barn. So he has a new ox that he's going to start using with the cart. And he carved a new yoke. He sawed planks for the new cart, and split shingles all winter. So he's working again. While his new wife made flax into linen all winter, and his daughter embroidered linen all winter, and his son carved brooms for birch all winter, and everybody made candles. So they're getting ready. All winter long, they're preparing. And in March, they tapped the sugar maple trees and boiled the sap down. And in April, they sheared the sheep, spun yarn, and wove and knitted. And in May, they planted potatoes, turnips, and cabbages, while apple blossoms bloomed and fell, while bees woke up, started to make new honey. And geese squawked in the barnyard, dropping feathers as soft as clouds. And then he's going to do it all again. He's going to pack up his cart. He's going to go and sell everything. And start over again. That's his life. The end. I love that story and I love those pictures. I'll be back for another story another time. Bye, everybody.